What's going on, guys? Welcome to my brand new podcast called The Frag Effect, where fragrances aren't just extra, they're essential. This week, I've brought on 3 guests to join a panel discussion with me where we're going to talk fragrances as it relates to dates, date night, dates during the day, brunches, setting up a date, securing the bag so you can be with your potential significant other, and all of the psychology that goes into how we choose the right fragrance for the right person in the right occasion. So we've got some wonderful discussion. I wanted to open it up because I feel like this talk is very narrow. A lot of times we talk about date night scents or panty droppers or lady killer type of fragrances. We don't really talk about kind of the nooks and crannies of the conversation that would impact a certain person from a certain demographic or around a certain culture or age group, or what part of the dating process they're in that might impact the fragrances that they would choose. So we not only talk psychology, but we also talk about specific fragrances that have got the job done in all of those categories. So before we get into this, let's run that intro and take a deep dive.
Blessing, get out the receipt, I'm celebrating with the peasants. Fragrant like a rosea, but it's heaven. Vegas, I don't need a wrist, it was destined.
What's going on, guys? Hey, y'all know what time it is, or maybe you don't actually, because this is a one-of-one episode. We ain't done this before. We're going to start making it a regular thing over here at the Scent Bubble to do weekly tap-ins with the community. There's so much fragrance talk that happens off camera. It's insane. I can't tell you how many times I'm sitting around going, man, I should have had the camera on, or man, I should have been recording this phone call, because with the people that I interact with, we talk fragrance all the time, and it's just good content. And you know, when it's a part of your life, you don't look at it like making content until it's over with and you're like, dang, that's probably valuable. So you wish you could have gave it to people. So that's what I thought of for this. It's going to turn into a podcast. I haven't named it yet. This is really the test run of that. And I've brought some great friends along with me for our topic of the evening, which is dating and fragrances. And we'll get to the specifics of that in a moment. Before we even get cracking, I want to introduce you guys to some friends of mine. Chris, could you introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, what's up? I'm Chris Siaj. I have my YouTube channel about fragrances. Very passionate about fragrances, and also trying to learn how to create fragrances as well. So there's a little bit about me.
Beautiful. Trey, let them know who you are.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? I'm Trey Fragrance, man. I love fragrances. You know what I mean? Like, fragrance definitely been part of my life ever since I was like 18 years old. You know what I mean? I started getting fragrance. So, that's a little bit about me, and definitely want to have my own fragrance one day. So, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. And y'all seen Kix with me as of recent. He's always around. But Kix, for those who don't know and are new to the channel, let them know who you are.
Man, I gotta do it. You already know it's your boy Kix Griffey back in the building. Hopefully everybody's doing swell and well. Hey, I'm just an enthusiast, love fragrance, been in it since back in the day, resurfaced, and I just love fragrances. Pretty much, man, I speak on the energy that these fragrances provoke or bring out of me, and hopefully people can relate.
Perfect. Okay, so a lot of times when you hear about fragrance content, it's very narrow, and it's because of the constraints of having to upload a video, trying to be mindful of attention and engagement and all of that. That's out of the window in this type of panel discussion. This is the time we take to look at the gray area, the little nooks and crannies of stuff we forgot to talk about as it relates to dating and fragrance. And because a lot of times it's a very basic Q&A, right? What are good date night fragrances? Maybe you might go a step further and think about seasons or weather. Maybe you might take it a step further and talk about occasions. But I think you guys are going to find tonight that as we go through some of those basic things that you consider when it comes to dating and using a fragrance for that space, you'll find that there's a lot of stuff that you've probably thought about at one point, but never really took the time to unpack. And it's going to be great to see the different age perspectives here, because I think the age range in this chat tonight is going to be about 20 to mid 40s. So it should be really colorful, chattery. So first off, we don't need elaborate answers. I just want you to kind of, first thing that comes to your mind, couple quick shots, because we got a lot to go through tonight, guys. But if you feel the need, you know, there's no time constraints. But let's start from the top here with Chris. What do you think you look for in a date night fragrance in terms of, like, it could be what you think the girl is looking for, or what are you looking for when you're picking a date night fragrance?
Yeah. So look, I feel like usually people would try to think like, oh, I'm trying to look for something that like that's super unique and that's gonna be super out, like that's gonna stick out and all that. For me, no, like I'm trying to look for something that will match the occasion, the outfit, maybe how it's gonna be outside, but most importantly, that's very easygoing, mass appealing. Like that's the main thing I'm looking for. I'm not looking to be super unique or super crazy, because if you give a very good experience, a good feeling, they'll remember that moment and they'll remember it with the fragrance. So they're gonna love it because of the experience you give, if you can give a good experience. So it's gonna be like, oh, like you're just gonna smell mass appealing, smooth and good, and it's gonna bounce off good off your skin. Like they're definitely gonna smell you. So that's what I kind of look for. I look for something mostly fresh. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I look for something mostly fresh or blue, because that's honestly what always gets the most, like, just, oh, it smells good. Because the average person isn't going to be like, oh, you smell like, I don't know, like saffron with some tonka and it's very nicely blended. They're not going to say, they're going to be like, oh, you smell clean, or you smell good, or you smell fresh. Like they're going to like that. And if you're dressed well, doing good stuff, it's just going to work out. That's just the cherry on top. I always say that fragrance is the cherry on top, and everything else, you do everything else right, no matter what you're wearing, they're going to be like, oh, you smell good. So as long as you just smell like something that's not bad, they'll like it. So
Okay.
that's kind of my sense.
Excellent. And Trey, what about you, bro?
Dude, bro, you know what I mean? That go back to my saying, bro. Like, you know, you feel good, you look good, and you smell good. You know what I mean? Like, you feel good. You know, me personally, like, you know, like what he say, you know, I try to match for the occasion. But me personally, like, you know, I like vanilla, kind of like that, like some rose, some Turkish rose in there. You know, bro, like when they come up to date night, like I'm gonna just give off for instance, you know, my girl, she loved this scent, this 1 million elixir. This her favorite fragrance in my collection when it comes to, you know, that date night scent, you know what I mean? And that scent definitely one of my most complimented scents in my fragrance collection. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm just simple. You know what I mean? I'm real simple. You know, I don't try to do too much. You know what I mean? But I don't try to, you know what I mean? I just hit it right on. I just hit it right on.
There's something to be said about simplicity, and we'll definitely elaborate on that later. I think you can get in your own head about fragrance, and it's almost like with every new fragrance comes a new thought about fragrance, and you don't want to, there gets to a point of where do I draw the line before I just pick the fragrance. And so simplicity is not only helpful in picking a fragrance, but sometimes women value the simplicity of just not overcomplicating the date with a complicating fragrance. You know, there's something to be said about that, which I think comes down to knowing the person you're seeing. Because there's also some women who maybe are around a lot of guys and actually are looking for complexity. So that's a cool perspective. Kix, where do you stand on this? And I have a follow-up question for all of you guys off this, because I'm hearing some good stuff.
Pretty much, I feel like this. It should be off of your energy, your mood. What kind of mood you in? That starts with me, number one. Then it goes into the fit. It goes into the weather. It's a whole ensemble with the fragrance, right? The fragrance, like Chris said, is the cherry on top. But your fragrance should speak, and it should speak for you without you moving your lips, right? It should be a presentation of your character, right? And then also you got to be considerate. So I definitely believe you should know the type of woman you're going out with. You know, what do she like? Now, of course, you got your own fragrance, your own mood or whatnot, but it's nice to also, we got a lot of fragrances. Come on, we ain't like 5 fragrances in. We got a few fragrances we can pick from, right? So if your girl like cotton candy, of course you're not gonna be all cotton candy down, but you could do like a little untold. You know what I'm saying? It depends on where it's at, or depending on the occasion as well. If you're gonna have a good time, y'all going miniature golfing or whatnot, you can play all that in. So those are major factors, that keys that I do before I pick a fragrance before going out on a date.
Absolutely. And also I think something really important to remember, and I'm just going to pivot off of some things I heard you guys say. Some questions I'll get in on, sometimes I'll move on because I think you guys have said a lot of great stuff. So I think another thing to remember about fragrance is the first time is always the most important, because you really do have one shot. I mean, a girl knows from the moment you open your mouth if she's giving you her number or not. And from the moment she knows, every moment after is just an opportunity for you to fumble, right? So, from that moment forward, if she's already said in her mind, I'm going to give him my number, then all you can do is screw that up. So another thing I like to remind guys is like, if you're confident that the fragrance you're choosing is right for the occasion, don't feel like it's the end of the world. Like, if you're confident enough to know you got the number, you got the date, she likes you, right? And women are very transparent with that if you get to the date point, right? You always have the opportunity to tell the full story later. It's very rare that you're going to have a fragrance that just explains you in one date. So that's another thing to remember, is what would be the most open-minded but still attracted she would be to you by that scent that will then be a gateway for other sides of you to show in other fragrances as dates go on. Sometimes it's not all about presenting everything in the first date either. Sometimes you want to play out and piggyback and progress. And hey, I know she'll really like this, but maybe I might want to try this later. And that's where I think occasion and all that stuff, making it simple, is really important. But also just remembering that like one fragrance isn't going to make or break you unless you're really fishing for being different. And in that case, you probably shouldn't even have got the number in the first place. I think another interesting point is that Trey and Chris emphasized keeping it simple and the mass appealingness of the fragrance. And I think that that's fascinating, because I think everybody sits on a different side of the fence of this. Because I know a lot of guys and younger men who would say, I need signature, no one smells like me, expensive, luxurious. And so they want to just swing their best shot all out the gate. Whereas you guys are saying like, no. Like, don't do too much. Let's just fit the mood, fit the vibe, ease our way in, and we're going to develop this. And so, that's an interesting point, because there's something to be said about wow factor. Like, I'll give you an example, right? I can see a case where Chris and Trey's perspective might not work. So I think it's important to know what scenario you're in. What if you get the date with the girl, but she's not head over heels for you, but maybe you just got in at the right time. She ain't got nothing to do on a Friday. She's giving you a shot. She's shopping, right? But the girl is serious. She look good. She smell good. Guys like her. She don't got any problems. Her phone is a Rolodex of opportunity. Maybe just fitting the vibe ain't gonna work. Maybe you have to stop out, because if you don't, you look like every other crayon in the crayon box, right? So that's another thing to consider are you already sold? Meaning, has she already bought into you? She's not out in the market. She's really feeling you. Okay, now it's about, building things out like a stew. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you're dealing with somebody who you feel is maybe out of your league, or just like demands serious consideration, maybe it might be time to shoot your best shot out the gate and then just kind of do decent, you know, plateau out because because you just need to show her that you can get there. So that's interesting as well. Before we go to the next question, any piggyback in there?
About that. Let me not cut you off, but let me ask you about that. That same scenario, right? At that point, you might as well go balls to the wall with it, right?
Right.
I mean, you ain't got nothing to lose, right? What do you got to lose?
It's just go ahead and go all out with it.
That's
That's what I'm saying. Roll the dice. Roll the dice.
I was about to say, like, just do it. Like, just go all in, because if she's already out of your league, just go all in, wear something like crazy, like the best, spray on something crazy niche. And if she don't want it, she don't want it. All right, I had a date. All right, whatever.
Yeah. So I think it's just interesting because, like, I know when I was in college and I was in high school, I met my wife on the tail end of my college life. But when I was dating, there would be sometimes I would get a shot with someone who I was like, it's like you pull the fish on the boat. You're like, whoa, like this, how'd I get this? and then you ain't even ready because you weren't even anticipating it like that. And now you like, oh shoot, like, okay, you taking an extra 30 minutes picking out the shoes, you know, you making sure you lined up, you go into the barber and you like, okay, I better not mess this up because I gotta get this one, you know? So that's a different type of anxiety that goes into that. Whereas if you're pretty confident, you know, she's within your means and stuff like that, then it's like, okay, let me just not fumble the bag. Let me be nice to the environment. It's much more relaxing choosing situation for your fragrance. So that's really interesting. Another question I have for you guys, this is pretty simple, but I just want to see you guys play it out a little bit. How does your fragrance choice change depending on occasion? So let's just walk through basic, like, brunch date. So maybe coffee or breakfast. I know a lot of y'all young guys, y'all ain't taking the girl out for breakfast unless y'all dating, but maybe you might meet for coffee or something like that. Or for go get some boba tea or something, you know? So how would it change in terms of what you're thinking about for like a morning time, midday date versus night? Because night, I think we can agree we're dealing with sweet, alluring and stuff. It's probably the easiest of the three, but kind of elaborate on some of the other occasions as far as time of day.
True. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like morning time, I definitely maybe like rock something like, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting out of bed, you know what I mean? Get my shower, brushing my teeth, whatever, then put on something fresh. You know what I mean? I wake up feeling fresh. And then, you know what I mean? Like midday, I'm probably going with something a little bit more, little bit kind of rose floral, a little bit, you know what I mean? Kind of heading towards that nighttime into that sweetness. And then definitely like for nighttime, I'm definitely rocking maybe some Marson, what's it called? The replica, Mason Margiela by the fireplace. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, and especially like that scent right there, like with day 3, the Tacita de Cafe. Let me know if I said it right, bro. That one right there, bro. Now that remind me of I'm finna take my girl out there to get a coffee run or whatever. Like, bro, that scent right there is crazy. So that's my take for that.
Okay. Kix, what about you?
Man, you talking about coffee? I'm gonna do something like Taliaferro, the La Taliaferro. This is Victory. This is let me just break it down to you real quickly. It's a cotton flower ginger bergamot blood orange. So this is a very clean cotton, almost laundry, but then it has this tropical hint to it. Not too much, but very clean, almost like downy. So I would like that in the morning time. That's fresh in the morning. It's like, okay, it's light, but it gives a like, dang, you smell real good. You smell like a downy softener or something. You know, that's what early in the morning, you know what I'm saying? It's something different. Like, dang, he woke up clean. That means that breath is clean. Oh, okay. Damn. So I would wear something like this. If we're talking about going into the midday, I want to wear something active. Something active. Let me just pull from the top of my brain like an Issey Miyake Intense. You know what I'm saying? That's an active kind of let's go, let's be a little active, you know what I'm saying? Then the nighttime, you know, that's the GTD fragrances, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's the way I would do it.
Okay, Chris, what about you, bro?
Yeah. All right, me, I wake up like sometimes I'm not even gonna lie. I wake up, I'm like, do I even want to put anything on? And it's
Hmm.
just like, but usually I go for oils, Egyptian musk oil or something like this, myrrh oil I have right here. It's amber and myrrh, something like this. I just something really quick, and I know I'm smelling good. I'm moving, doing stuff. I smell good. Stuff like that in the morning. If I'm going for a coffee thing, I would go with this again, this myrrh. Maybe layer it with a good coffee fragrance like La Tacita de Café or Tres Oros by Day 3 as well. Maybe a Latafa Kamrakawa or like Jazz Club, something like that. But I'll layer it with this because it'll go crazy with this. This is really, really good. This amber and myrrh oil, and it's just I'll do that. But in terms of the morning, I'll definitely go for something light like an oil or a fresh fragrance. If I'm gonna get coffee, I'll layer it. I'll do a coffee with this. That's kind of my way. That's kind of my take. What I'm doing. I really like that kind of. I've really been into subtle stuff recently, so I'll kind of be like that. Nothing too crazy, but nice and subtle. Linger. I'll leave a good scent trail.
I'll tell you one thing, guys. When women judge fragrances online, like you see a chick smelling a fragrance, there's two main reactions women give towards fragrances. They'll give that cozy, like, that like she wants to eat the guy, right? Like it's a vanillic, it's sweet, it's spiced, right? It's it's ambered up. But then the second reaction is, oh my gosh. And then they'll say the first way they'll describe it, it's fresh. Like women love saying it's fresh. So clearly like freshness is and freshness isn't a note, it's a feeling. So one thing I notice with all your guys' responses is that the approach in the morning, even into the afternoon, no matter what it is, it has to be fresh. And it has to have an airiness to it, whether it's light or it's somewhat heavy. There should still be an air to it, an easygoingness, a freshness to it. And I think in the freshness category, you really have like unlimited potential. I mean, even if you go fruits, citruses, linens, soaps, a little bit of earthiness, stuff closer to like a natural skin scent or something you might use in the shower. The world is really your oyster. But freshness, if you have freshness with a fragrance, you really don't have to go beyond that in terms of overthinking a morning or even afternoon fragrance. I think for myself personally, as I approach the middle of the day, I kind of start thinking in terms of introducing sweetness. So I'm most comfortable with sweetness at night and in the cold. I'm the least comfortable with sweetness in the morning. In the midday, I crack the door open for sweetness if I'm going to even go there. So that's kind of how I think through time of day for me. And when it comes to notes and all that stuff, I don't really care as much. For me, it's just like freshness, close to skin scentness, morning, invigorating, something that makes you feel happy to wake up and live life. Midday, you can play with romantic, you can play with casual, all that, and then that leaves all the notes open. And then nighttime is when I really want to make fragrances that put me in a specific mood in a specific place. So that's pretty interesting. Now, does weather, I mean, this is an obvious answer, but I want to push to see how far we go with it. How much does weather impact choices? Because we know hot weather fragrances and cold weather fragrances. And in fact, I've gone as far as to say these days, I don't even think in terms of seasons. I think in terms of temperature,
Right.
because it's a little bit easier to navigate because everybody's fall doesn't look the same and doesn't feel the same. So if I go around telling people this is great for fall and the temperature's not where it is where I'm at, it doesn't make sense. Whereas if I speak in temperature, that's a little more English for people. Like that is more universal. And then there's also the thing of like, if you really love a fragrance, you care less about weather, right? It's kind of like an afterthought. So what do you guys think about weather? Like, how has that impacted your journey at all. And it doesn't have to be overly complex. I just want to see your thoughts on it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been saying this. I've been saying this a lot. That's like, if I love a fragrance so much, I don't care where the hell I'm going. I don't care what the temperature or weather is. I'm gonna wear it. If I feel like wearing it, I'm gonna wear it because I like it that much, and that says a lot. That means like this fragrance is really good. Like this is a really good fragrance. That's what I think. So I'm wearing it. Like I love it. Something I do with like oud satin. I love that fragrance so much. I'll wear it anytime, anywhere. I've even worn red tobacco in this Texas heat. I've worn that before. Trust me, and I liked it. And like,
Did she like it?
no. But look, the thing is, especially here, I think what you said with like November or like, and not everybody's fall is the same. Here in Texas, man, it doesn't get cold till like January, February. My fall is not the same as a fall in California or something. It's humid here. It's hot. It's hell here. It's horrible. So yeah, I'm not gonna be wearing any type of Amor Cafe or something like that in the fall. No, that's not here. At least I'm not doing that. So that's kind of my little take on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trey, what about you, bro?
Shoot, bro. Me personally, bro, and this Georgia weather, bro, is so bipolar. This weather is so bipolar. So I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Like when I wake, one minute it can be cold, next minute it's hot. Like, bro. So basically, man, at this point, I feel like, man, it really don't even matter to me, bro. Like I say, if it's cold, then I'm wearing something, like Mancera Instant Crush, tobacco. Then if it's kind of getting like maybe warm, then I may be rocking a little bit kind of like Mahir Legacy, Latafa. You know what I mean? Like then, you know what I mean? Like I just wear, like I say, I don't know what I'm getting to with this weather, so I just wear what I like. You know what I mean? So
you have to respond to it as it's coming.
Yeah.
You can't really predict what it's going to be like. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let me, Kix, did you have anything you wanted to add before I went on?
No, just to answer the question, weather plays a big role for me. I look at the weather. Before I even pick anything. You gotta ask the wife. I'm on the phone like, what? Oh, it's gonna be 70. I gotta go with this, or I gotta go in this category. But with me, it's kind of unfair, is because I believe that the region that you're in dictates that. I got a cheat code. I'm in sunny California. Women, weed, weather, right? So it's kind of easy for me. If it say it's gonna be 70, it's gonna be 70,
Yeah.
So it's easy for me. So mine's is kind of unfair to other people that deal with different regions or whatnot. Mine, if it's I go off of weather. Weather is the first thing. That's part of my decision maker. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just add to that by saying in Arizona, it is above 100 almost all the time. So I don't really think through weather in terms of time of year. My weather to me is what the weather is inside the building I'm going to be in. So, am I at work? Where is where I'm eating have a patio section? What's the climate of the place I'm going to? Because a lot of time in the year, you ain't going to be on the basketball court. You ain't going to be at the park. You ain't going to be at a lake. You know what I'm saying? So, I think maybe some people in Arizona might care more about fragrances that carry a lot of longevity. Because if you're moving around a lot, especially like if you're like a landscaper or a construction guy, or you do solar out here, like you are going to want like a monstrous fragrance that is like Spartan 300 level projection and longevity, because you really have to fight to keep it, but yeah, I think of weather for me is more like I base it around the indoors of where I'm going to, unless it's nighttime. Nighttime does change things here. And then the very few times of the year where you might get a musty, rainy day, or, very few months of cold weather. But weather is, I look at weather way differently in Arizona, because you're judging it by a different set of standards. Let me think here. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I feel like indoors, at least for me, you don't even know what you're getting into either. Like, I feel like even with that, like I was for example, I was at an Astros game the other day, and man, it was hot in there. It was hot in that stadium. and I was wearing this myrrh fragrance again, this myrrh oil, and man, I was sniffing, man. I was wow, like it was dense, but yeah, it was crazy.
Oh,
But yeah, but man, it's like even with at least here in Texas, it's bad, man. It's pretty bad. Like I used to live in California, man. I was born and raised there, moved here like 5 years ago. I miss that weather. I wish it was that easy, man. I wish it was like that. But like I say that like weather is still a big thing. Like a majority of the time I do check the weather and I'm like, okay, like I'll wear this. Like that's still a rule, but lately or like for a lot I've been kind of blurring those lines a lot where I'm just like I don't even bother, but it's still a big key role, I'd say.
Okay. Hey, listen, guys. I'm gonna call an audible real quick because I want to talk fragrances. So I want to jump out of some psychology for a second, and I always over prepare. So we have to do a part 2 to this because I have some insane questions I know we're just not going to get to. So let's pivot for half a second. Scent of the day or scent of the night, boys? What are you wearing?
Ooh. All right. Hold on. I forget. Like people ask me when I go live, like, "Oh, what's the scent of the day? What do I wear?" I'm like,
hey, for those of you guys who don't know, I did send these boys a prompt, but I left out my pivots. So that's why we need to cause some excitement in these podcasts.
yeah, okay, remember. Scent of the day, bright leather. I got Ferragamo bright leather.
Ferragamo. Okay, that citrus, that blonde leather. That's a banger. Okay. Trey, what you got, bro?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Let me stand up real quick. Let me look at my collection real quick.
Okay,
What do I
okay.
got on?
Kicks, you want to answer while he's looking?
Man, I went ahead and did something crazy. I went ahead and layered Bath and Body Works beach coconut. I wore that. And then I went ahead and just did a Zara. I did something simple. Zara High and Country Summer. And this is a nice summer banger. Fruity, citrusy. It has a little bit of floral, lightly powder, but it's just perfect for the warm weather today. We was like in 80s, so it just worked. It was a tropical feel. So that's why I wore it there.
Excellent. Trey, what you got?
Hey, speaking of tropical, bro, the scent of the day, it was like 80, probably like 90 some degrees over here. So I rock
Paradise.
JPG Paradise Garden. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I feel like the thing is, man, I look at a lot of people like reviews on this, bro. Like I feel like a lot of people say that they don't like it because of that minty note that's in the opening. But me personally, I feel like it's not that bad. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not that bad. I love that fig, that coconut. You know what I mean? It's not my favorite JPG out of the Labu. It's not my favorite, but it definitely gets me through. So this JPG, man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I had to rock this today. I was definitely.
That's good stuff.
What's your
That's
favorite?
good stuff.
What's your favorite JPG? Just one thing, so I could see if we're gonna be friends or not. Like, what is it?
Yeah. Oh, my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite is Labu Le Parfum.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say La Mala Parfum. I was about to say, no, we can't be friends. No. All right, you
Excellent. And guys, I'm not going to tell you my scent of the day, but you know, I had to get myself in the mood of the conversation tonight. So I'm going to give you my scent of the night is, oh, it's not this one. Actually, it looks just like this one, but it's not this one. I wore By Killian's Black Phantom.
Whoa. You're going crazy with that one recently, huh?
You know, Straight to Heaven is phenomenal to me, but you know, I would use that fragrance going out, you know, and I was just trying to get in the mood for podcast tonight. And I also wanted to test run it with wifey because Black Phantom really is like the word, you know, you're a mysterious man. I don't know how I feel about it as a signature scent, but it's something I'm curious enough about to throw on and see what the vibe is. So I put it on. It's so mysterious to me. I don't understand it at all, but I'm intrigued. So I was like, you know what? Let's just change the whole mood up. So right now I'm rocking Black Phantom for no reason other than, you know, that's like me lighting the candle for the evening since I'm meeting up with the fellas.
Like you trying to make another baby, man.
I don't know, man. Listen, my wife is very picky, and with Straight to Heaven, I know I will take it straight to heaven. But with Phantom, you know, Phantom has he's on trial right now, so there's something alluring about Black Phantom. You know, it's just you can't make out notes with it. at least if you haven't seen Fragrantica, you know, if it's just like first sniff, it's very mysterious. It's sweet, but then it's dark. It kind of seems in the family of like a Bulgari Man in Black, but then on the sweet side, it just goes a completely different direction. I don't understand it, but I'm here for it, and I'm going to give it time. Okay, so speaking of fragrances, all right. This is different, guys. This might take you off guard, but you know, you're in the scent bubble. This is just what we have to do, you know. I don't like dry conversation. So what are some creative ways for you to figure out your date's scent interests? Not necessarily in the date, but say you're surveying a girl, you want to take her out, you kind of know her a little bit. It ain't just like you saw her at the mall and asked for her number. This is a girl you've been interacting with a few times, but you kind of want to make sure you don't blind grab a fragrance if you actually land the date. So what are some things you might ask her or talk to her about to see what she's into without asking her what type of fragrances she likes? I'm going to let y'all marinate on it for a second.
This sounds like this sounds like I'm texting a girl and I'm asking my friend, bro, what do I say here? What do I say here? This is how it feels.
Nah, I already got it.
Okay, man.
I'm not gonna lie. That's a good question, bro.
I could go first if you need me to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know you've been asking.
My whole thing is when you building rapport, right? You building rapport. You said this is someone I already built rapport with, right? So I already somewhat know what she like. If I don't, I've already asked. Like we've already been through Bath and Body Works already. We probably already been to like a botanical garden or whatnot. So I'll automatically women do this. Oh, I love florals. Oh, you know, and it's like I just put that in the mental Rolodex, you know, and from there. I'll go ahead and pick. So my wife like lilies, right? I'm gonna do something like Oolong Cha. It got floral, it got that stuff that she like, and then it got that tea. So it's herbal. It's like aromatherapy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would do. That's how I've always done it. I like, you know, exploring. So that's one of my ways, you know.
Okay, let's go around the room. Everybody just say like one thing you think might work. Listen, man. We're going to give each other ideas. That's what we going to do. So Trey, what you got, man? What's a way you can figure out what she might be into without asking her?
Ooh, bro. I'm not going to lie, bro. Maybe I'll just take her to like a fragrance store and I'll just let her smell whatever she want. And when she asks me to smell it, and if I keep smelling like the same, put it like this, I'm put it like this. If I keep smelling sweet stuff or floral stuff, then I know that's what she like. You know what I mean? And like he say,
so you're judging what she might like by her scent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, and like he say, you know, because women love to talk, so all you gotta do is just really listen. You know what I mean? Like that's all you gotta do. So I mean, all in all, it's kind of really not that hard. But it's all, like I say, it's just all of like, you know, you just got to pay attention, listen. You know what I mean? You don't really got to say nothing, you know, and then boom, you got it. You figured it out. Figure what you like.
Okay. Chris, what you got, man?
Okay, look, I think this might sound a little weird, but I think, listen, they're talking and all that, but find out what music she likes. I feel like music speaks volumes.
Ooh.
Find out what you'll be like, okay, she likes a basic guy. She likes Sauvage, you know, Blue de Chanel. Like, oh, she's in the know, so she like knows this guy. Not much people know him. Okay, she likes more of this type of, maybe some fragrances that, you know, it's a little different, you know?
I like that. So music is about moods, and you might not be able to put notes to a mood, but you can match a mood to the notes. So maybe she like rock and roll, so you might like more daring fragrances. Maybe she like R&B and speakeasies and little open mics, and she's artsy. Maybe you start thinking through the fragrance like that. Trey, what were you gonna add to that?
Like what Pop Smoke say, she like Dior. You know what I mean?
Okay. Hey, that's a fact. So maybe if she's heard of certain fragrances in certain songs, she might have explored what that smells like. Here's a couple. Let me throw y'all onto some game too. So one of y'all said something really important about seeing what she smells like to see what she gravitates towards and meeting her somewhere in the middle, something where she can identify with it, but then you pivot a little bit and play with that. Another thing is, before you even get the date, rocking fragrances and passing by her, right? Because you're going to get feedback from that. When I'm gonna try wearing fresh fragrances around her. This is before the date. This is y'all just friends, acquaintances. Maybe you passing her by in school or at work or, at church, whatever. You just interact with her at some way. I'm gonna just start throwing fragrances on and seeing what she responds to on a casual level. Okay, she likes earthy scents, more masculine scents. Oh, she really liked my ambers and stuff like that. Oh, she really likes certain citruses. Oh, I'm gonna darken it up a little bit today. See how she takes that. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna start surveying the feedback I get off of my casual line to point me in a certain direction, and also use that and the information about what she wears. I love the comment about the music. That's absolutely fire, because mood plays into everything. I'm gonna also see how I dress in front of her. Does she like rugged, raw, not, a little less groomy, a little more rough and tough? Or does she like dressed and slacked down? So maybe you have a fragrance that matches the dress, slacked, groomed out, or you might have something a little more rugged and aggressive if she likes that. Maybe she's giving you feedback on your dress, what you put on, right? Another thing, I'm a guy who likes to sow seeds. So like, I've been with my wife for 16 years, so apparently I've been doing a good job. But trust and believe, I had a lot of great feedback that led up to that treasure find. I might say something to a girl like what kind of candles you like?
Yeah,
Bath and Body Works.
Something simple, like I might just say like, what kind of like do you have candles? Like, and again, this is in conversation. I might just randomly pop something up where she'd be like, nah, I don't do candles. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Or like, y'all are getting a smoothie and she likes strawberry banana smoothies. I mean, like, it's all information that you could take in and kind of point you to fragrances that would be in your best interest to try. And then when you factor in, when you actually get the date, time of day and all that, all we're doing is downloading information and making estimates, right? And then we're also injecting our personality into it as well. Because if you're a confident man, you can learn the art of, complimenting a person in a space, but also being you. And there's also something sexy and classy about a man who cares like none of that and can just rock out on a fragrance and make the fragrance sing. And it's like, you're nothing like what she's ever encountered, but that's exactly why she wants to give you the date. I want something new. So that's really interesting. Kix, did you have any other feedback on that?
Oh, man, I'm weird, man. So before my wife, man, I like doing stuff. I'm a big Batman fan, as you guys can see. I like Dracula and stuff like that. So I'm always trying to bite on the chick's neck. Like, I always like to get in close to see how they smell like. So I'll be like, let me get a bite. Let me just get a bite. This little thing. I just need this little right on the neck. Right on the neck, dude.
Got to.
Hey, dude, they laugh to death. It breaks the ice. I get the smell up on them, and then I take that. It's not for me just trying to get close. I'm also trying to smell and see what's going on. She like a lot of like fruity stuff, or she like a lot of little flowery stuff. So you can ask, man. They be so tickled. I'll be like, let me just a little bite. I won't nick. I won't bleed you out. I just need a little bite. It worked, man. It worked.
Yeah, I'm really big into like meeting somebody where they're at and turning the volume up a little bit, and then taking them there and then turning the volume up a little bit, and taking them there and turning the volume up a little bit. So maybe it's freshness. Maybe I show up, man, you smell so fresh, so clean. Okay, you like fresh and clean? I'm gonna give you fresh and clean +1. I'm gonna go a little bit up from that. I'm not just gonna shoot for the stars. And then I like to just create. I like to pace myself when it comes to like the courting process of just like talking to a girl, figuring her out and stuff like that. And I even do that to this day, like with my wife. Like I'm very much in tune with how we interact and the things that she responds to. And I try to let that be a part of my fragrance process. Okay, speaking of biting the neck, Kicks, we're gonna touch on a couple more quick questions, and then I'm gonna save the rest for a part 2 because this is amazing. I knew we were gonna get into the nitty gritty, and which means it's a lot of value for the community. I know people would benefit from this. Some stuff you guys, I know you've thought through, but then as we all talk, you're like, oh shoot, I'm gonna take a little bit of that and put it in my process. So let's talk about biting the neck, but not explicitly. Let's talk about closeness. Let's talk about closeness and distance. So let's talk about actual fragrances right now. What's a fragrance you wear with extremely low projection because you're going to be close and intimate and you don't want to blow her socks off? You want it to be alluring within a 2 feet of projection space. So we're talking Netflix and chill. We're talking maybe a date night out, but y'all are sitting next to each other and not across from each other. We're talking movies. She's sitting next to you at the theater. Close range kills. What is your kill shot fragrance for close range?
Bro. Oh.
We'll go in a circle. Chris, start us off.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. This might be a little surprise, but it has worked before, and I was even shocked. But Blue de Chanel, man, Blue de Chanel, because at least on me, it does not project like that. It's very close. It has longevity, but it doesn't project. It's not beastly whatsoever. But man, it has worked. Like I've been told, like, oh, you smell like really good. Oh, you smell really, really good. You smell good. I'm just like, it's whatever, just chill, no, I'm playing. But it's like it's worked. So that's why I was like fresh and blue, like that really works. It's worked. That's just one of the times, but it's worked many times. So
Blue de Chanel is timeless class, and I think people overlook stuff that women just identify with well. Like, the average person is not wearing fragrance. So when she steps into that Blue de Chanel range and she gets that earthiness, that freshness, that class, it'll do something to you, and at the end of the day, you want a fragrance that makes her want to get close to you. So that's a good pick there. Give me a close shot kill, Trey.
Definitely. Y'all might be surprised what I'm about to say, but it gotta be Summer Meat by Drake.
Okay.
Summer Meat.
Okay, Vanilla Musk. Okay, talk to me.
I kid you not, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. Long story short, right? I was at work one day. I had this fragrance on. So I kid you not. I don't know this girl whatsoever. She came up to me. She was like, you smell really good. And she was like, and I was like, thank you. And she walked away. And as she was walking away, she said these 3 words, y'all. I kid y'all not. She literally told me, she said, I love you. I'm like, I'm over here like, oh, what? I'm like,
I love you. The 3 biggest words.
Bro, I kid y'all. I don't know this girl whatsoever, bro. Like, I'm over here like, bro, what the freak, bro? But that scent right there definitely is a close shot.
I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Words of affirmation from a woman, it don't take much. Ladies, take notes. You can control a man's soul with some words of affirmation. Let me tell you something. The fact that she said that to Trey, can't nobody tell Trey nothing about Summer Mink for now, because that's all he needed. Let me tell y'all something. When I was in college, right? I was losing my hair and I had to make a decision, right? I was like, do I try to play this out and get a Caesar and just rock it out till I get out of college? Or do I set the tone from freshman year? I'm bald and I'm gonna just ride it out, right? So I made the decision, I'm shaving, I'm going for it. Freshman year, I'm sitting in the dorm. I'm like, okay, we finna get it. I hype myself up, put the blade to the scalp. And I had a date later that day. So the girl saw me with hair one time and she came over And I answered the door when she came over, and she saw me and she said, "Oh my gosh, you cut your hair." And then she ran her hand over my head and she said, "I love it." That right there, I said, I don't care what nobody says to me. I'm not going back. I don't care what caliber of woman, nothing. That one girl said that and set the tone that's all I needed. That was my rite of passage and transition into being bald for the rest of my life. I said, we gonna make this work. And that was what it was. So words of feedback is everything, including with fragrance, man. So Kicks, what you got for us?
Man, I'm gonna do it since I've been talking about biting on necks and ish. This is the fragrance, man. Lyric, man.
Okay, the vampire's blood.
The vampire's blood, man. Look, the rose, the citrus, the lime, a bit of that saffron. You don't gotta spray too much. But see, this is a little difference. This is a big difference depending on age and whatnot. And where I like this to be intimate. I like this to be up close. Interfere in that 3 feet of space is because one, rose, believe it or not, women love rose, but this is more of a masculine, smoky resin rose. So it's like, is he a bad boy? But he smells so good. I want to mess you up. I want to mess that head up. So yeah, lyric man. And then after you think, I'm like, which one I want to lean to? I lean to the devil side. Let me get a bite. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a bite. There you go, lyric man. Lyric man.
Absolutely. Now listen, there are so many fragrances I have sitting next to me that I want to pick, but I feel like that's why I got up a second ago. I feel like it would be disrespectful to not pay homage to the amount of play this fragrance has given me. Just being a signature scent that women, when I was a lot younger, would just always gravitate towards. My wife loves it. It's just a no-brainer to me. And it's sad because a lot of other fragrances from the YSL line get talked about more today, but I'm just a man of heritage and legacy, and like YSL L'Homme to me, guys, I have never had a bad experience with this. Yep. This is a juice, don't lie fragrance. If this fragrance can whisper to you at all, you are mine. Yes. I can't. For me, I know what gravitates to me is like the luxuriousness of it, but the basil note, that little green flare on top, just like gives it more animation. But when you talk about sexiness in a bottle, I always get feedback when I've worn L'Homme in the past, and I haven't busted it out in several years. But I tell you what, man, original L'Homme by YSL. I think we talk a lot about in the designer category, things like Tom Ford Noir, Noir Extreme, Spice Bomb Extreme, Prada Black. We talk about Gentleman Reserve Privé. We talk about Valentino Uomo. There's just a lot of, Sauvage, Eros. We talk about a lot of these, heavy end fragrances. And even from the YSL line, we talk about Y, we talk about Baby Cat, we talk about Tuxedo, we talk about La Nuit de L'Homme, Blue Electrique. L'Homme is crazy, guys. I just think it's so slept on. Like, it is a timeless 2-3 foot of projection, and it ain't gonna last long. But the opening and dry down is so special to this that it's only gonna give you about 2-3 hours on my skin, but it's a kill shot. It's toxic. If it gets on your skin, it's over with. And I have no problem reapplying this. And this sat in the console of my car for any time I needed to pull the sniper out and get to work. So, again, I have some other like way more newer stuff that I want to talk about, but I just think this is timeless perfumery right here in a bottle. And I wish more fragrances smelled like it.
Yeah, and I think when I said Bleu de Chanel, I was debating either Bleu de Chanel or this one, but I really like this is definitely like up there. You said it perfectly, man.
L'Homme is just majestic, man. Oh, it's such a good tone setter, and it's such a good cozy, like let me get in your jacket, fall asleep on you type of fragrance. If you're sitting across from her at dinner, she's gonna want to come sit by you. You just, she ain't trying to smell, the biscuits and butter coming out on the table. She try and go up next to you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what it is. Okay.
That Loam EDP for me.
Which
Loam
one?
EDP.
Mm-hmm.
Loam
Mm-hmm.
EDP. That's what my wife.
The dark
loves, and
juice,
I got
right?
that in there. Yeah, man. You talking about nighttime? That's GTD certified. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Loam is nice. I love Loam, but if we talking about Loam during the day, EDP during the night.
I said rock hard.
You want to close it? Are we closing deals, or we talking about come back another time? I'm
Excellent.
trying to sign signatures. Go ahead, though.
Okay, so guys, this is beautiful conversation. I'm loving the energy in here. Love y'all, man. Y'all are doing awesome, giving everybody great value. So we're gonna wrap up with one final question. And man, I left so much on the table, but that's just God telling me, we're gonna spin the block on this another day. Okay, so we talked about close range kills. So let's end on snipers. What fragrance is gonna go across the room and get her for you?
I'll go first.
It could either be something with a crazy sillage scent trail, or it can be something that will literally scorpion get over here type of range.
Okay. Hey, look, I'm gonna keep it simple for everybody that can get it. So I'm not hitting all these high end, niche fragrances, right? This is the one that kills every woman I know. Moms fell in love with it. I had to buy her a bottle. My wife took my bottle. This is ultimate.
Untold.
This right here, this little Untold, man. It's something about that saffron in it. Women, young girls like my daughter's age, they love that damn Ariana Grande. That saffron cotton candy. Well, this one takes a little bit more adult spin on it. And I don't know, even my homeboy, his my best friend, his girl is in love with this. She's on her second bottle and it's only 1 year. You know what I'm saying? So I know for a fact and it lasts 8+ for me and for everyone else I know. Easy pickup. What, $32?
No brainer. No brainer.
And what's crazy, bro? That same scent, I had 3 women compliment me at the same time with that fragrance before. That scent right there goes crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that scent go crazy.
Hey, I believe you, Trey. I believe you. It's a no brainer.
Yeah, Trey, what you got, man? Speaking of which, man, what you gonna hit from long range?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm going with something different, bro. No lie. Me personally, this has been working out for me lately a little bit, bro. This one right here.
Ombre leather.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. This right here been working out for me lately. Bro,
hey, man, that puts chest hair on a guy like you, man. I see you. I see you out there.
What guy gonna come with the Popeye eating the spinach and shit? What's all this chest out, man? What's all this? What is this, man? Hey, SB, you didn't say it was gonna be like this, man. He gonna bring out time for it.
Hey, listen, I know that's a new pickup for Trey, and I remember the first time I smelled ombre leather. I remember how it made me feel, so I know it set Trey on fire. He was like, "Okay, I know what this is." How's that make you feel, man? You getting all the feedback from that?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. It's definitely in my opinion, it starts off masculine. You get a nice, real, authentic leather. You know what I mean? Then you get some florals in there too. And towards the dry down, maybe about 30 minutes, it is unisex, by the way. So it is unisex. You know what I mean? I feel like men and women can wear it. And it starts to get a little bit kind of toned down off that masculine a little bit as it starts to reach that floral. But me personally, I feel like I really don't see how it's a unisex fragrance. Me personally, I would just fit it as a man. Mm-hmm. It's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion. But this scent right here goes crazy. Working out so well for me. I can wear this scent and during that winter time when I'm in a tuxedo or whatever, bro. like I'm going to like a billionaire inviting me to his yacht or something like that, bro. This scent right here.
Tom Ford
I think
does.
Trey ain't telling the truth, bro. I think that's cougar. That's cougar wear, man. That's cougar wear, man. He trying to get it. Hey, he trying to get his PS5.
Trey is punching real high, rocking ombre leather. No, one thing I love about Tom Ford is Tom Ford does an incredible job about elevating your senses. When you wear Tom Ford, it just feels like you stepped into a different level of luxury. It doesn't matter what the scent is. The caliber of perfumery, if you're into designer, gets elevated when you step into Tom Ford. I don't feel that way about everything. You know, when you start to talk about the peach and the vanilla and all that, okay, cool. But generally speaking, most of Tom Ford's fragrances, when I first encountered them, it was a scent of, this is another level I'm not on, and it took me there. And so I appreciate that about those fragrances. It always feels top shelf. Chris, what you got for us? Long range.
Oh yeah, so wait, I want to add on funny story about ombre leather. I remember I was at Sephora one day, and I was just, all the time I go to those stores, I just re-smell stuff I've smelled like millions of times just to see where I'm at, if I like stuff or I don't like stuff anymore. And I sprayed ombre leather, and I was like, oh yeah, I still love this. This is great. I got to pick it up one day. And I asked these two girls, I was like, oh, what do you guys think about this? They were like, they were like, you like that? I was like, amazing. And I was like, since I'm here, I got a YouTube channel, so I had to plug myself. But
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, I think there are girls who want men that kind of smell like them.
Like youth.
Like, yeah, like, and it might not just be like teenage or young or 20s girls. It's just a mindset, really. Like, some girls like you to smell like them, but a little bit more masculine. Some girls want you to smell like a slightly younger version of their dads. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, you really got to know who you're interacting with when it comes to play. Ombre leather is mature. But I think there's a lot of girls who are ready for that. And there's a lot of girls who aren't. Maybe this girl dates dudes that work fast food chains. Maybe she dates dudes who work in department stores. Maybe she dates entrepreneurs. And that changes the type of scent profile they're familiar with. So that comes into play. Chris, what do you rock for long range?
So long range, this is one of my most complimented fragrances in my collection. One of them, I've had moms, girls my age, so much people being like, who smells good in here? And that is the best Eros Flame.
The best Eros.
Like
okay.
I like that.
Literally, it has done it all for me. Like, I remember being in a room, and man, I'm a heavy sprayer. I've gone like 10 sprays with this. I won't even lie. And they were like, this room smells good. Who is it? Who is it? I remember they'd be like, who is it? And then they'd chase me down, and every day they'd be like, you smell good. Like, I knew you were coming. I smelled you before you got here. They're like, what is it? What is it?
I'm glad you got here.
I'm not gonna lie, bro, because I love that spicy. I love that spicy note in that Versace, bro. I love that spicy in there. I love it.
Beautiful. Yeah, dude. It all the time I need it. Like, I need to do something. I'm like, okay, I know what I got to do.
Yeah.
This, bro.
You know, I think
revisited that last week.
What was that?
Great.
Go ahead. No, I said I revisited that fragrance last week because I was like, man, I haven't worn it in years, and I'm like, oh man, I kind of evolved, and then I was like, let me just go ahead before I let it go, man. I was gonna let it go. I was gonna send it to Puerto Rico to another family, you know, but I smelled it. I was like, oh snap! I was getting washed. I said, you could go back home. You stay right here. You stay right here. So hey. Eros Flame is a good choice, man. It's a good choice.
I think what's underrated about Eros is Eros clearly bites concepts, right, that we're familiar with. But what they do well is repackage super mature ideas and make them more palatable in a general everyday sense. And so whether it's Eros Energy taking an Aventus style and toning it down and ramping up the fruits and making it feel more invigorating, or taking apple and vanilla and making it more mass appealing, they just do a really good job of that. And it's easy to talk about Eros, and I do it quite a bit, from a note standpoint and comparing it to other fragrances as a man. But if you really survey the world with the various Eroses, they have a lot of great feedback for it. And so I think it's important. You hear a lot of stories about that to kind of figure out if it's going to be a great fragrance for you. But a lot of people really gravitate towards them. Trey, did I cut you off? Were you saying something?
Yeah, one more thing. I'm glad we on that topic about Versace. I smelled that Versace Euros energy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I did not like it. I did not like it. Like, bro, like it was just straight kind of lemon zesty. Like, it was too much lemon zesty in that opener. I did not like it. Like, I don't know. I just could not. I couldn't deal with it.
Now, see, one interesting take on that, though, Trey, is like, y'all are content creators. So I know you guys have come across a lot of Aventus style, right?
Right.
And so you when you smell pineapple, you think of how you smelt it on 10 different fragrances in your wearing experience. So you have a little bit more criticism for it. But I think somebody who's never encountered lemon and pineapple before, they kind of have a love at first sniff kind of thing, similar to how my first senses were when I first smelled Club de Nuit EDT. I was like blown away. You know, now I would be hard pressed to be blown away by it. But again, where you're at in your journey really matters. And to the general public, everybody's getting an initial whiff of a lot of these profiles that we're all very common with. So there's something to be said about that. My long range kill as of today, and mind you, it's very hard to just to give people some context for why I'm picking this fragrance. I try to wear something new all the time. So in my season today, there's not really something I can tell you I've worn just a gang of times and had a gang of compliments or whatever. But one notorious killer from long range, no question, compliment factor is high as something like your Eros, your Hasavats, your Anis, your Sauvage Elixirs, your Privés, your Dior Hommes. Just as high compliment factor, but crazier sillage, crazier projection, crazier uniqueness. Trace Oros Day 3.
Oh,
no question.
I was surprised.
No question about it. When I wear this scent, it literally is a living being. It almost creates a silhouette behind me where the head turn ability of a fragrance like this is off the charts. You think about a fragrance like Wajan. You think about a fragrance like Noir Extreme. You think about all these spicy, sweet killers, right? They don't have the radiating ambery feeling a lot of times. They're dark, seductive, like trying to figure that guy out, but he's sexy because he's still pulling me in with sweetness. But this, with the pineapple and the mandarin orange and the finesse of the honey and all of that, it just takes those DNAs and gives them way more gravity. The scent trail is unstoppable. The snipe ability is incredible. I took this to a resort. I take it out to eat, and it just goes and sits around and just captivates. I've gotten so much feedback, not only from my wife, but just the general public. Anywhere I'm wearing this, you don't even have to say anything to me. I have control of the pivot on your neck. If I see you kind of getting pulled, it's pulling everybody. I don't know what it is. It just... And again, when I first smelled this, I thought it was quite mid because it's a fragrance where at first sniff, you get honey, brown sugar, and you're very familiar with that. You know, you think, oh, Wajan or Lamal Elixir or Halloween Man Shot, something in that range. But after the first wear, every time after that, your palate opens up to the transition, which is like a beautiful orange, a beautiful pineapple. It's just insane. I went into day 3 because the boutique's by me, and I was going to get Bonnie and I was going to get Ambar Dominicano. And when I got to trying it on as a full bottle and not a decant, it just had a whole different life to it. And I had to get it first. And so long range, even short range killer. But as far as if I'm trying to walk around and leave myself in different places and start claiming territory, Trace Oros has given me insane spin. This would be the fragrance your girl wouldn't want you to wear out in public. And it's just, it's gotten so much wear. I've made a lot of excuses to put it on, even though I try to diversify as much as possible. So that one's been a crazy, like, no-brainer for me. I make a case for any season, any reason, but obviously colder weather, I feel like it comes alive a little bit more. But any season, any reason, nighttime, date night, and then daytime, if you just want to flex, it's highly signature. And then it just has all the textural qualities. Like, ideally, if we all made a scent, we want it to last long and not have to reapply. We want to have a great sillage. We want it to be loud, but in a whispery way, not dominant way. We want something unique and interesting. We want something high quality. It just checks every box I can think of. Guys, incredible conversation tonight. I want to pivot and let everybody know where they can find you guys. So let's start with Chris, go clockwise. Let them know where they can find you on YouTube or your socials or anything like that.
I got about the same name everywhere. YouTube, Chris Siage, Instagram, Chris Siage, TikTok, Chris Siage. It's all the same everywhere. Just type that in. I'll be the first one to come up.
Excellent. Trey?
Instagram, Trey Fragrance. YouTube, Trey Fragrance. Same for TikTok, it's a little bit different because I tried to edit my name to Trey Fragrance, but some reason will let me do it. But it's Trey Fragrances too, so you know what I mean. And for Snap, Trey Fragrances, I do post content on there too. So yeah.
Kicks. Oh, you're on mute, brother.
My fault. I was trying to. There's a lot going on. Kix Griffey on YouTube. On IG, it's KGA_365. On TikTok, it's Kix Griffey, and that's where you guys can find me.
Excellent. And I'm your host for the evening, The Scent Bubble. Y'all just find me on YouTube. I'm going to tag all these brothers in here so you could click them off the title or the description, make it real convenient for y'all to follow these guys. I don't bring random people onto my channel. These are people I talk to all the time. I want to see everybody grow. I just think they bring value to the space and they're authentic, which is all you can ask for these days. So definitely check these brothers out. Again, we're talking about the psychology and the fragrances and all that behind the dating situation. I know there were more questions I left out, so we'll definitely spin the block on that later. Guys, feedback in the comments. What are some of your go-to fragrances for various dates? Give us some specifics. Don't just name a fragrance and throw some emojis on it. Tell us where you wear the fragrance, how it's gotten you play in the feedback, and if there was any topics that you want us to elaborate on a future episode that you found value in, please put it in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe. I do content every single day. I'm out here working, grinding, and these brothers are too. So show them some love. And until next time, y'all be blessed and take care.
Yes, sir.